Hello, my dear Enders, and we are back. Back again, and like I promised you when we came back, we'd be covering the 7 deadly sins. Now, to understand where the sins came from, we have to go all the way back to 375 AD with Evagrius Ponticus, a monk who fled Constantinople and hid out in a monastery in Egypt. He wrote what is known as the 8 tempting thoughts, and that is lust, wrath, pride, vainglory, sadness, sloth, gluttony, and greed. Now, for centuries, these writings of Evagrius Ponticus were just strictly within the church teachings. Only monks and priests and bishops and the hierarchy of the church ever read them until the year 590, when Pope Gregory the Great, considered one of the great reformers of the church at the time, and would eventually be sainted. I know because I went to the high school named after him. Now, what Gregory did is he basically took Evagrius's 8 tempting thoughts, and what he did is he removed vainglory, and he removed vainglory and sadness, and he added envy, and that today gives us the 7 deadly sins of pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Now, and then they became wide teachings. They went out to the world. He put them out to the world so the world would know what these sins were. They were 7 sins that were bound and determined, according to church teachings, to send you straight to hell for violating them. That's half the human race. We'll get into it. Years later, we have 1320, The Inferno by Dante Alighieri. As you know, he, of course, as I said in a previous video, every vision of hell that we have to this date is based on Dante's vision, because there's no description of hell in the Bible except for one. And as you know, Jesus said hell is like Gehenna, and what Gehenna was a garbage dump that was always on fire. That's because they burned garbage back in those days. But of course, we have Dante and 1320 Dante and the Divine Comedies and his trip through the 9 levels of hell. Now, in 1598, Archbishop Peter Binsfield, one of the earliest demonologists, one of the founders of demonology, put into classification. He gave each of the 7 deadly sins a demon to be associated with. Now, according to lore and how it eventually went around, these 7 demons were in turn the first 7 angels to be cast out of hell after the war between God and Satan. So, according to Binsfield, greed is covered by the demon Mammon, lust is Asmodeus, envy is the Leviathan, gluttony is Beelzebub, sloth is Belphegor, pride is Lucifer, the angelic form of the devil, and wrath is Satan himself. And sometimes wrath is also Amon, who is a lesser demon, according to translations. Now, when we start gameplay, we will cover each of the 7 demons who you will be going after, and we'll get into that in a couple days. So we'll be back to it soon. Also, look for now in every video description will be the rules and regulations of the game. If you know friends who are interested in playing, bring your friends, come back. I hope you, my darling Enders, who've played for a long time, come back. As I've said before, I'm your host. Welcome to Tales of the Underworld, and look for our next couple of videos this week, long run of the 7 deadly sins. Good night, everybody.